Guys, unlikely reviewer here. Just gonna give you a quick book review on the book I have just finished. It's a good book. It's actually a really good book. I was surprised. I picked it up. I was just shopping through the bookstore, looking for a new fiction book to read before I go to sleep, and I came across this book by a South African guy called Charlie Human. The book is called Apocalyspe Now Now. I'll let you have a look at that. And that is the main reason why I picked it up. I loved the artwork on the front cover, and as soon as I read the blurb on the back, I was sold. It was basically everything I was looking for in a book. It was light-hearted, it was fantasy, sort of teen fantasy, but it's not really a teen novel, guys. There's some graphic stuff in there, so I wouldn't go out and grab it for your 13-year-old daughter or son. It's very much above PG rating. There's some adult content in there, and it's definitely not for the younger reader. It's more for the older reader. However, the main protagonist is a teenage kid. His name is Baxter. He is the anti-hero of the piece. He is a very witty, charming and cheeky guy. However, he does have a slight sort of Machiavellian type narcissistic streak that runs through him, which makes him into quite an interesting character. And Charlie, I have to say, does develop the character very well. The depth of the character is something that I really enjoyed about this book. It is written in Cape Town, South Africa. That's where the story is set, and it explores a lot of the urban legends or urban myths that come out of that sort of culture. So we're looking at the Boers, we're looking at Afrikaans culture, that kind of culture, the sort of myths and legends that come out of that culture, and it ties in together. It's very fantasy, very good, very well written. I have to say, for a first time author, I was really impressed with his writing style. He keeps a great pace throughout the book. I was never ever bored. I read the book in like 2 or 3 days, just before I went to bed. It was one of those books I really wanted to keep on reading on, just to see how the plot developed, just to see what kind of different characters Charlie could come up with in his imagination. And his imagination is wild, guys. It's really good, really vivid, and there is a lot of description in it, but not too much, which keeps the book quite light, keeps the pace quite quick. Anyway, to get into the plot, without giving away too many spoilers, Baxter is this high school kid. As I said, he's a Machiavellian type character. He's got this little gang he calls the Spider, and he feels that he's sort of woven a web between his school, where he sort of pulls a string and then something happens for him. He's sort of very open with his manipulation of his school friends and his people he's closest to him. And he has this girlfriend who is quite funny. He's unsure whether he loves her. He sort of feels that loving this girl is a sign of weakness, until this girl gets abducted. And then, he has this sort of midlife crisis of confidence. His ego that he's developed sort of comes under attack, and it sets a ball in motion of a series of unfortunate events, which leads Baxter to explore his heritage, explore who he is as a person, his lineage, and it also takes him into this underworld of South African folklore, which sits just underneath South African society, where you've got all these monsters and these ghouls, and he has to navigate his way through this labyrinth of these monsters who are out to get him at every turn. The the anti-hero is Baxter, but his sidekick, or yeah, he would say a sidekick, is this guy called Ronin, who he employs to help leading through this supernatural world of myths and monsters. Ronin as a character I really enjoyed. It's actually one of the negatives I have about this book, that they did not explore the character of Ronin well enough. Like, the depth of the character is great. I mean, it's good. I just felt that they could have explored it a little bit more. You know, I wanted to learn more about this guy. I wanted to learn his backstory. I loved his characteristics. You know, he's a heavy drinker. You know, stereotypical sort of anti-hero type. And Baxter employs him to lead him through this, you know, this maze of myths and monsters. As I say, the pace of the book is very good. You know, I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but you know, it's everything you want in a light-hearted read. It's fantastic if you was on a commute to work. It's very enjoyable, very funny, guys, very funny. And for that reason and that reason alone, I'm going to give Apocalypse Now Now 4 out of 5 stars, guys. It is really good. There is a sequel to it. I'm going to pick that up and I'm going to read that and I'll do a review on that. But as a first time effort, Charlie Human, I take my hat off to you, mate. You've done really well on this one and I really appreciate the hard work you put into it. Go pick it up, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Just give you a little shout out to Charlie, you know, good book. And there's also a lovely quote in the back here which really hit me, where, you know, in my heart. It says, not all those who wander are lost. And I really appreciate that from a philosophical standpoint. You know, I thought that was really great. It just gave me a little bit of a sneak peek into what this guy's gone through. Obviously he's been, you know, looking to write this book for a couple of years, so I take my hat off to you, mate. You've done a really good job on this, and I look forward to reading your, you know, the sequel to this novel and many more books from you in the future. Peace, guys. Enjoy the book. Grab it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Cheers. Bye-bye.